It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You're still on your Feel Good Breakfast show right here on S3 and Mzansi. It's always so good to be with you, especially because we are celebrating today. It is Africa Month, and what better way to celebrate than with food? Now look, when we talk about radio trailblazers, Nick Hamman is someone who comes to mind. And when we talk about him, not only has he walked from Joburg to Polokwane, not only has he broadcasted live from Antarctica, he is now eating his way through South Africa, okay? And when I say that, he is doing such a beautiful thing with his new project called Hammy Eats. It started off with videos on Instagram. It's now a full-blown YouTube series, and it's doing the things that need to be done. Why? Because it's not just about food. It's about storytelling, it's about perspectives, and it's about so much more. And this is what we're learning about today, all in that celebration of Africa Month. So everyone, let's give him a feel-good welcome, please. It's Nick Hamman. Nick, how are you?
Good, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Outside of radio, our
100%.
other world.
Yes, but dude, you're doing so amazingly. You've always been someone who's for adventure, but when was the moment where you took a bite of something and you were like, I want to jump into this now?
It was realizing that the easiest way to talk about all the things that I'm passionate about, culture, people, where we come from, is done through a plate, because food is a conduit to culture. Food is not just what we eat, it's the stories of our mothers and grandmothers and our forefathers and our cultures and our identities. And when I made that connection, I realized this was a path that I really wanted to go down. And then because we have so much difference in South Africa, there's so much that you can do. You'll never run to the end of it.
Amazing. So you didn't just want to turn your job into food?
I would love to. If anyone is willing to pay me to do that, I would happily.
I mean, you've already turned it into that, King. But I mean, one of the things I also know is that, moving from the fact that you were doing Instagram videos to a full-blown YouTube series, that's not something that's easy to do, right?
Sure.
So why did the decision come now, where you were like, okay, let's level up and turn it into this long-form thing?
It's, anything in life that you do, that you're passionate about, and you start to see people getting excited by, you want to just keep growing it. You want to turn it into different things. So on the one hand, it was a natural progression, but it was also just wanting to merge the different worlds that I've always been in. As someone who's made television shows and written television shows, doing YouTube nowadays, it's that. You have a production crew, you have people that we're very skeleton, so most of us are doubling as writers and producers and editors. But it's just fun and it's professional, and I think it also gives us an opportunity to take the stories from the screens of people's phones onto something that we just feel is a bit bigger and a bit more in-depth.
I love that.
Hence the YouTube. And also it's just, you hear that that's what you should do nowadays. YouTube is where so many millions of people are at, and
they're making millions. Sign up.
Well, we aren't, but
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, Nick. Okay. But one thing I also know is that you've always been someone who's so good at telling people stories, which is incredible. And of course, just like you said, South Africa's, or rather even food, is something that's tied to telling stories. Let's talk about South Africa particularly. When we talk about food and in terms of our culture, what makes it so ripe?
I think one of the things that really stands out is that the food story of South Africa is very much linked to the broader story of South Africa, particularly when it comes to the idea of ingenuity and the idea of struggle and the idea of utilizing resources. So a great example of that, two great examples. The one is if you think about the quota, for example. This is something born out of the kind of ingenuity that you only get in South African townships. And you feel it when you're there. When you're in the streets, you know that there's an energy, there's a kind of resilience that could only have come from this part of the world. And that's what the quota is, because it's taking limited resources and making something as delicious as possible that's easy to contain and move around with. And now it's like a food of pride. If you look at a lot of what people call either traditional foods or so-called African foods, a lot of these are finding the most delicious ways to use every part of the animal. Use the head as well as the intestines, and then that becomes, again, about ingenuity, but also culture, because now it's a point of pride and delicious pride. And so I think that South Africa is just ripe for food stories because of how linked they are to who we are.
100%, and you're so right about it. It's delicious culture, very, very delicious culture. And I mean, you are someone who has led a lot of us to that delicious culture, because you go to a lot of different spots. How do you decide on which spots to go to? It's
become a democracy, so I no longer have the ability just to go where I get invited to. There's just too much. But comment sections are a wonderful thing, and generally what happens is go somewhere and you ask people, you say, well, where should I go next? And the comment sections just tell you in their hundreds, and you can sort of start to see that if there's one place that a community desperately wants you to come to, they're going to make sure you know.
Yes.
It's the one thing. The second thing is that the deeper into these worlds that you trek, the more the right kind of people start to find you. It's that like law of attraction thing.
Yes.
So people now are more aware that I'm looking for interesting, I'm looking for cultural, I'm looking for different and beautiful and African, and those people that are doing that, they find their ways to find me.
Beautiful. So when I open my restaurant, Nick, are you going to come?
I will.
Thank you. All right. He said it here. He can't go back on it, and he's not going anywhere. You got to make sure you stick around. We're still chatting to Nick Hamman all about Hammy Eats and how it's taking over the YouTube streets, baby, but just taking over social media and beyond as well. Stick around. You're still on S3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You're still on Expresso here on S3, and we're still hanging out with Nick Hamman, the man who is bringing Hammy Eats to the world, baby. It is all about his YouTube series that is doing the things in terms of not just exploring food, but getting into people, places, perspective, and so much more. And this is why we're celebrating with him in terms of Africa Month. Nick, you've been everywhere. You're just doing, I mean, you're still making your way through South Africa, right?
Yeah.
But at this moment, just in terms of how many videos you have out there and everything, it feels like you've been everywhere.
Right.
But one of the videos that I know really stuck out for people was when you ate pig's head.
Sure.
How was that? I've never even eaten pig's head.
Delicious. So what the place is called Coach.
Yes.
And Coach himself, who was in transport and then he fell on hard times, his mother passed, and it's a beautiful story of how he started this place. He thought, okay, well, what can I do that the area around me is not doing? So the area specifically, the part of Soweto that he's in.
Yeah.
So he's like Shawelo side of Soweto.
Yes.
So he was like, well, no one's really doing pork. But if I'm going to do pork and I want to stand out, I've got to do all of the pork. So they do the head, and they basically like pre-cook it, then they put it into a big thing of oil and they like fry it, and then
They
it comes
fry
out,
it.
and the whole thing just gets plonked on your table. And it tastes, to be honest, like pork tastes. I mean, the meat around the cheek in that is the same as, you know, like just fatty guanciale or something like that.
Yeah.
And the rest of it tastes like bacon or pork tenderloins. It was pretty good. I ate the brain and the eye also.
No, Nicholas.
Yeah,
And how was that? Was it not like mushy and stuff? And
Brain is really interesting. So brain is like, if you've ever had a liver pate, it's kind of got that texture, but very, very soft. It's almost like, also if you were to put butter in the microwave, it's got that just evaporate sort of thing.
Yes.
Wasn't amazing, I mean, but it, I would eat it again. And then the eye, the crazy thing is that the eye is like so big, right? But when you bite into it, it explodes almost.
No, Nicholas!
And then all the inner contents of the retina and the cornea and all of that.
Nick, stop it! Nick, you are not afraid of things.
Not food.
No, clearly not. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Okay, I don't know if I ever want to try pig's brain, but thank you for allowing me to
My
know
pleasure.
that I'm living vicariously through you.
Did it for subscribers.
Yeah, all right, amazing. But I also know that, you know, the reason I was like, I've never even eaten pig's head is because I'm Xhosa, so, you know, the food that I eat is like ulusu and things like that are part of the traditional, like, part of my culture. So for you, are you someone who's always eaten tripe and things like that?
So, like, yes and no.
Okay.
It's really interesting. So I was a person who I think have always had a relatively curious mind and palate and approach to the world. And so a lot of things, mohodu, for example, or ulusu, I, had eaten. But one thing that was completely new to me when I had it for the first time was cow inyama yimplok, or cow head.
Oh, yes.
I'd never eaten that
I
before
love it.
I started this journey.
And how delicious is it?
It's amazing.
It's so good.
And I've eaten it everywhere from a Dala house store in Alex to KZN and like desperately trying to find the best. It is amazing food.
But Nick, I mean, with this beautiful YouTube series, where are you taking it? Like, what's the next step?
So I've started doing a lot of work where we eat with ambassadors here in South Africa.
Nice.
And the whole point behind that is South Africa is the second most diplomatically represented country in the world outside of only Washington. And I wanted people to know that. And through these networks, we have plans to start taking the show abroad so that we can show people first Africa, first our continent, and then the rest of what's out there on the planet. We are... And this is such a hard thing to even talk about, but it's like we're in the process of very slowly negotiating a TV show.
Nice.
But it's, you know, it's like it's back and it's forward and it's up and it's down and who knows where it will go. That and an app that people are going to be able to find out all the spots that we go to, and they can just on their phone check really quickly and see. Those are the things that are happening.
Dude, that's amazing.
Hopefully.
I mean, not hopefully. You're already doing it.
Thank you.
Shout out. We're very proud of you, and especially just thinking that it started with just a couple of videos videos on TikTok and Instagram. Now you got a full-on TV show
wild,
that's
yeah.
in New York.
It's wild.
You know what I mean?
It's nuts.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're very excited just for the growth of it, and we celebrate you in Africa Month.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is Nick Hamman with Hammy Eats, the new YouTube series that you did not know you needed. Go and check it out, my friend, because as you heard here, it is not just about food, no. It is also about people, culture, perspectives, and so much more. Even storytelling and memories and just things that make food exactly what we need, which I truly say is 100% all about being African. And this is why we're celebrating with Nick Hamman in Africa Month. Now, of course, you can also catch all of the details and all of the episodes on hammyeats.co.za and all of the details just about what this beautiful movement is. But as you heard, Sana, from Instagram to YouTube to the world, and Hammy said he's going to be one of those people who's doing exactly that, taking South Africa to the world. You're still right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Make sure you do not go anywhere. There's still so much more to come.